Going to be both of these teams fighting to the bitter end as they both want that spot in the finals.
So this is a question that I'm going to give out to the crowd, is the fact is how loud can you get for these two teams? I want throughout this game to hear you guys getting hype behind them because we are live underway. T-side's going to be Luminosity, CT side is NiP, and coldzera and Fallen going to be the utility players here to try and set up this piece. The low side is coming towards B.
Pushing themselves out now. Cold and Taco looking for the first kill, pushing out towards the broken wall, but get right. Pretty preserved, falls back fairly fast. And now Fer gonna look for some early drop control. It's given to him too, rounding around it there. Get right is not even really able to contest it because the broken wall push comes in at the same time. FNX finding a first kill. Get right trying to hide behind the rock, but Cold dropping exists further back into the bomb site here. And Get right, he's out in the open, but he's flashed. He doesn't even realize it, trying to find something, but he cannot grab anything at all. And Fer and FNX just clothesline those final 3 kills. Get right, Freiburg and Forest all go down, and it's Luminosity that takes control of things.
And what a decisive way to start it off. If I'm not mistaken, everyone stayed alive then from Luminosity at that point. They pretty much got everything they wanted throughout that entire pistol. Yeah, exactly. No kills at all for NiP throughout that. So perfect start. Now for NiP, you've got the 3 nades, a P250 and a Deagle, so hopefully they can maybe stack out, get some good damage done, because you've got 4 SMGs coming up against you, so they're looking to build that bank. They're looking to do more damage, to add insult to injury. And it looks like they're going right back towards B, but you've got FNX holding the flank as well, so keeping that in mind with a rifle. Kind of scary to leave him isolated alone, but no one's going to be pressuring him anytime soon. And again, they have the smoke with coldzera, one with Taco, and then the flashes and the nades to support it as well. But there is a good little stack here from NiP, so they could be doing some damage. And it looks like Fer wants to lead the way towards drop, as already he does drop down. So again, this is going to be just causing a little bit of a ruckus amongst the NiP players, who now need to back away a little and try and reset the fight.
Fer finding the first strike, but Forest does respond back, and there's a good pickup from Pith, looking for Aurora, as they end up running into their own nade, it seems. So a little bit unnecessary damage being done to the remaining members of NiP, and now LG have good control of things here, trying to clean it up pretty quickly. Taco finding one of the last couple of kills. Just Freiburg left inside of this smoke, but they know he's in there. It's all the matter of hunting him down. Almost a nice shot, but it's not going to connect, and Cold will finish things off pretty quickly.
All right, so losing out on 2 players, if I'm not mistaken. Not too bad, that's perfectly fine. Considering that was actually a very clean round as well for NiP, they barely invested into it. You kind of just have to get through them. It's how much can we do at very best. It's looking for those very small things you can put together. So again, not a great deal of money to be made here. So they've got 1 smoke and 1 flash towards Forest. They just go for a stack again, or a very aggressive play towards mid, which is what they're doing. Just going to try and go out, overwhelm someone, ideally get a gun away. At the moment, look at Fer. You can see this guy just hunting it down. Anyone with a MAC-10 is wanting to get up close and personal, just try and hit the shots and farm the money. And up close, that thing just tears through people, so it's absolutely perfect for that.
And we even have the remaining focus of NiP is back over here towards the A site too. Nobody's here in B, so they just went for a risk and that maybe Luminosity was going to try to change things up a bit. Definitely did not end up happening, so the remaining couple seconds here is going to be pretty easy. And Fer be on a bit of a hunt too. If he pushes himself out, might even be able to grab some more kills. And there we go.
Nice idea on the use of the flash to try and just, I guess, get in the face of those players, but they just perfectly fine. And actually, a good bit of money built up. Look at Fer, 7.4k already. I wonder if he's going to be that guy. Fer, you going to stick on that?
Absolutely. No reason to believe he wouldn't.
Oh, no, he's actually upgraded. He has upgraded, okay. We've got the Max 7 with Get Right, so he could be playing on that little kind of broken wall part, going in towards B, towards platform, or maybe drop. Both can work pretty well, but at the moment, everyone else has that full rifle. And to be fair, people like Pasha, you see Edward often doing it. It's not exactly an unknown thing, but it does look like, again, a very aggressive start for Luminosity. Taco's just going to power through, and he catches up Pit. That's a huge opener here. Now, Luminosity get that start, and they can just hit the brakes. They can slow down the pace, although that pop flash will allow a little bit of a swing out there. And Freiburg going to go back into it, a little bit dangerous, and of course Fer was waiting. And again, starting to build some real control. Get Right's trying to put himself in a good position here, but now going to be left out right in the open.
I'm amazed Taco even gets himself past broken wall before dying, but there we go, Get Right with fire on his tail. He moves out, catches coldzera. FNX will find a quick response, and now Fallen pushing in too. He's going to pick up an additional frag, dropping down onto Exist. It's all into Forest. He's got a position behind the rock here on the site, but in a 1v3, it's going to be very, very tough to keep himself concealed for a very long time. Flashing things off by the platform, but now overall, Luminosity are just falling back to go for A control.
Yeah, and look at FNX. he can be the linchpin, basically play the rotate, as can Fer, and they catch him well. So well positioned with the 3 remaining players. Forest sadly didn't stand much of a chance, and Luminosity just coming out with some insane aggression then, just playing straight through. Was it Taco who just kind of like ran in and just caught Pit?
Yeah. I mean, as I was trying to mention before, like I was amazed Taco even got through that in the first place because of how many nades NiP used to try and stop a rush like that. So definitely a bit of a shock factor as he picks up that first kill, but NiP are on point there to trade that out pretty quickly. Ultimately, though, at the end of the day, when it comes to those opening 1v1s, it's Luminosity that dominate the playing field, and so they'll take control of that first gun round.
A little worrying if you're seeing Luminosity looking this good on their T side already, and it's the fact that they're doing so much damage and their money is becoming so robust. Sadly for NiP, they've been limited to even doing damage at this point, getting kills. It's been a very unfruitful game, I guess you could call it so far. And they have got a bit of a stack kind of focus around drop and, you know, off to the side. It wouldn't be too surprising to see an A split coming through on these rounds. But again, Luminosity just going to be clearing out one by one. The flash doesn't really catch anyone either, so Fer and Fallen having a really comfortable time here. And Forest just going to be waiting out. And while that Molly's going to push him back, and Fer with the one to punish. So they do get a little bit of damage done, but nowhere near enough to claim the round. And again, Luminosity starting to string these rounds together. It's not looking so great for NiP.
No, it is not. But of course, we've only really had one big gun round played out as of yet. So there's still plenty of time for the Ninjas to try and bounce back into things here. But the strong start from Luminosity could be disheartening for these guys, especially if they start having like flashbacks to the first map. That's where it could get a little bit rough there, because we definitely saw quite a few mistakes being made in that portion. But now the op comes into play on Pit. We'll see how well he can frag with it, because Luminosity very quickly taking up those default positionings. Doesn't look like they're going to be moving out to the site just as of yet.
Yeah, Fallen playing extremely far back with his AWP as well. So looking for anyone trying to push through from A. And look at those deep mollies. This is very nice. Oh,
it's
wow.
raining fire. And look at him spread a Taco. Where's he going to go?
He just about found safety in the corner then, but this is brilliant stuff. That's what I love looking at, is those small adaptations from NiP, that they do things that most other people don't really do at this point, and the mollies will force get right a little further back, and it looks like we're going to have a posture towards this B hit.
So the T's trying to force somebody from NiP outside of a position up there on the platform. There's no one there, so all that utility is going to go to the waste as they re-smoke things immediately after that. NiP will have still an extremely strong grasp on this B-bomb side. That's going to be the ultimate task, is now finding those initial entries. They've been doing good enough to this point, but with that early damage done and them not really being able to get any intel whatsoever in the early round, this is going to be rough. And even Fer's first attempt to push drop, there's no one there from NiP, so he's not going to find anything here.
Gonna try and play off maybe the back of that pop flash then. Does a smoke and molly to try and maybe cut off one of the approaches here, but they do need to start making their way through, and it's actually Fallen almost going in first, and this is incredibly brave and incredibly well done. Fallen almost gets the second. He legged Exist as well, but Exist does shut down at least one avenue of approach. That's drop room relatively under control, but not enough that he can turn his back. He has to depend on Pit here to watch that platform push. The pop flash didn't go deep enough. Pit will get one, gets the follow-up. FNX gets destroyed, and now down to a 3v2. Taco and Fer with a big task on their hands.
No way into the site either. It's just going to be a raw attempt to move in and take control of the site, I should say. Taco finding a nice first one, but now he needs to chain this together. Moving himself out there, cannot find the second kill. Forest will close it out, and NiP are on the board.
Good stuff from Pit in the end as well. Getting those 2 kills. To be fair, if that flash maybe had gone a little further in towards Statue, maybe he'd have been a little bit blind, but he had complete control on watching that push out. And Luminosity just got picked apart. So 5-1 here. And you can see just the arc of it then.
If you watch the little arc of it, it's maybe like an inch or two too slow. That had been thrown just a little bit farther, it would have connected, and that could have been a completely different round ending.
Freiburg going on the SMG here. Not sure that's going to do too well, because look at the pace Luminosity are coming in with, and already GetRight has to just put down Fer, but look at coldzera. He's forced into action, and he's going to take it, takes down one, gets the follow-up. coldzera just being let off the leash here, now 3v3 already. They're looking a bit deadly here, Luminosity. The GetRight deals with one, Pit misses the shot, leaves a bit of a chance here with the Brazilians to work something out, but Pit needs to land these shots. It's GetRight who's doing the babysitting here, if I'm honest, but Fallen has kept this round alive. Now 2 giant players going head-to-head. GetRight against Fallen. And Fallen's got an idea, but he whips it! And GetRight just turns around, sprays in, gets the 4 kills, and another round on the board.
It should be noted, too, that GetRight pushing back in there and finding that kill closer to the site, saving Pit's life a few seconds earlier, is actually what allows them to clutch that out, because just a few moments after that, Pit does actually end up bringing Fallen down to that low amount of HP, and obviously we'll see him finding that bullet or 2 through the smoke, which ends the round in his favor. So nicely played by GetRight there to save his teammate. Pit finds the damage over on a Fallen, and then later on we see actually GetRight closing it out. So nicely played by him.
Yep, Freiburg going full flusher on us here, going for the UMP near drop. Hey, it works. I'm not going to doubt it at this point. It certainly has worked for flusher, but then again, just flusher things. So See if Freiburg can keep up with that. Going to be forced away, actually. A nice little smoke comes in. Now deny any sort of information coming towards NiP as to where these players are at the moment. So this could be quite curious to see how it comes down. 4 players put over towards B pretty early on at the moment. Forest soloing out on A. And to be fair, Luminosity have not really looked at A yet either.
They literally haven't looked at A. I mean, they've sent maybe 1 or 2 players in towards mid-connector, but that's about it. They really have not been experimenting with it whatsoever. But there's Taco, finds a nice hole in the smoke and is able to take advantage of that by executing Exist. Quickly falling back, too. Not actually going to try to take any control of that one. We'll see how the Ninjas react to it as they actually do move Freiburg away from drop and just completely onto the A-bomb side.
Yeah, and it's a weird read that they've got going on here. I'm not sure why they're putting them off that.
Luminosity are not giving them any intel whatsoever,
no.
So there is reason to suspect it could be going to either bomb side, especially with how quiet LG are giving. And even, you know, that AK spray coming in there, that's not going to give anything away. That could easily just be a lurker sticking behind to trick them.
No, absolutely not, but it will end up coming towards what looks like a 3-2 split. Fur and FNX going down towards drop. We've got the 3 towards the platform. The drop guys coming first, pull all the attention towards drop, and there you go. There's that UMP at a good range here, and it's dealt with it well. There's still 1 player in drop and a couple to work their way through platform to still get into this battle, and Fur's going to find one good pick up towards pit there. And now 2v2, this is still pretty tough, but the buy is suddenly in favor to Fur. How the hell did he just find Freiburg? That's unreal. And now 1v1, coldzera up against Forest. 7 seconds left. coldzera needs to get that bomb down and make his mind up here because Forest is just closing in 3 seconds. It's ticking in safe. Oh, Forest well played in the end. Leaps around, gets the job done, and just testing the nerve of coldzera.
Ultimately, the biggest issue there for LG is they take too long to execute onto the site itself. He pushes them, so they push themselves out onto that site, but it's only when there's about 20 seconds left on the clock. So NiP are given plenty of time to rotate back over from that A site.
Who allowed British people near a bar at esports? I'm just saying, this is a dangerous combo.
I think the weird part is that they're wearing C9 jerseys.
I know, it's surprising that anyone wears those. Yeah. Dude, I can't believe you'd say that. You're North American, man.
I mean,
Starter might
not
still
necessarily
be
a friend of North American CS. I think that's been well established by this point.
But we are seeing a difference here, actually. Luminosity have remembered there's 2 sites on this map, but one also may contain a bit of a raid boss at the moment, that being Forest. He's claimed Fur, but the rotate's not going to have too much luck at this point. But look at Gerai, look at Exist. They're right amongst them. This could still be pretty dangerous. And the T-side aren't having an easy time of it, but Forest is still racking up kills.
So getting themselves onto the bomb side here, down to the 3v3, but there's one from Gerai, missing the flick, but Exist is behind the support, and now Fallen, he's going to be way too slow with his execution. However, it is a full 10-second defuse, but I don't really think he's going to want to challenge this too much. It's going to be a defuse long before he makes any impact, and Floridas takes him down anyway.
I've got to say, actually, Luminosity got pretty far up on A before they even got challenged then. They made it pretty far. Forest, of course, was being a huge play in that, but again, NiP have been only really sending 1 person there. They haven't been able to get too aggressive because you've occasionally seen, like, I think it's Fur generally, or maybe Fallen if he has the AWP playing all the way back, so denying that kind of rotate through all that CT aggression. So again, I'd love, it's actually FNX this time, I'd love to see maybe a little bit more of attention towards A. I think that's why you're seeing Freiburg supporting a little early on this time, to deny anyone a chance to get towards it. It looks like they're trying to sell, like, hey, maybe we're here, they're going to smoke it out themselves, flash towards danger, but there is still at least the main bulk of Luminosity looking at that B site.
And Fallen again, moving into drop. This has been an area that NiP has actually been allowing a lot of free control to Luminosity. They're not actually really putting anyone in the room itself. They're just having people placed up by the windowsill and outside in that little transition room to try and stop them from getting any further than this. Because if they have a player in and they can't get out, well, he's stuck there unless he gets a second to support him. But there's always going to be 1 player trapped inside here. And it seems to be the case right now. Getright moves in to try and hold things off a little bit better. And also they're going to boost somebody up on top of the platform too. Getright, though, does have to fall away from that one because he's brought down extremely low, just a 6 HP.
Exist taking a bit of a gutsy play here, looking for that information on towards play. He's going to hear the steps, hear the gunfire, and he actually might have a good assumption as to what's coming his way. But already Taco's pretty up close and personal, but Exist has managed to back off. And, well, NiP are giving over a lot of control here. Luminosity on the verge of being able to hit the site. So they need to stop this right as it starts, but already with Fur taking down Pit, that's a good avenue of approach now. But look who's on the flank, and this counter boost could catch him off, but that Mag 7 just rips him from Guts to Garter, and now 4v4, coldzera, Fallen, Taco, and FNX looking for opportunities here, but NiP aren't giving them over easily.
They're all stuck up on platform right now. They can't actually get out onto the site despite these trades. Down to a 2-on-2. Finally, they're able to make a little bit of forward momentum here, but Forest could be dangerous out in the open. He loses his teammate, and now he's by himself, but there's a good shot on the Taco, and now there's only 1 left, but it's FNX. He's at full HP. He's going to go for the plant, but Forest is not being aggressive about this at all.
15 HP though, Forest can't take a full fight. He needs to land the shot, he can't get it done. It's Luminosity to stabilize in that and further themselves forward. And 6-4 now. And this is the game we were waiting on, a closer affair between these two. But you've got to be thinking for NiP, their money's not going to be ideal at this point anymore.
No, it is not. So for the Ninjas here, just going to be upgrading pistols as Luminosity continue on a bit of a rampage forward here. A little bit of a rough patch there with the Ninjas finally managing to string together those 4 rounds, and a bit disappointed that they can't actually put another buy up onto the board after so many in a row. But here we go, LG full throttle out to the site. The problem though is they weren't accounting for NiP, so they're going to find 2, but thankfully LG get back control pretty quickly. It's coldzera to find 2 on the site itself, and Fallen tapping away. He's got somebody down very low behind the rock, and he knows it too. Just can't execute him as of yet.
The danger being that Exist actually has the armor, and down to 1 HP. CZ can't do much more. Forest on the long flank. He was going all the way around from A, and I think they've got a good idea of this. But coldzera being very low, he might have been in trouble, but no. coldzera sprays down, gets the job done, and him and Fallen secure the round. Take this one a little further. And of course, this is still, you know, you could argue this is probably quite a T-side map. It's very hard to get information as a CT side. There's very few teams who can play it as well as some. So now Luminosity on this scoreline is certainly not over, but look at Exist buy here.
That's an extreme buy when you consider how unstable things are here for NiP on the CT side. I'm curious to see what the plan is for it. I mean, right now it seems pretty basic. Just take it over to the B-bomb site and post it up probably somewhere by Chicken Coop and whatnot, and then just hope it can impact. Because, again, this is a great spot to place it then when you consider the Luminosity. They really have only been attempting B hits with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions so far in this half. And they've had a lot of focus back over on the platform.
And the weird thing being that NiP have been able to get 4 players here almost every round, but yet find it quite hard to contest this. But that's a very good start. Get right. Going to claim the scalp of Fallen, leaving the 4 players left alive. And actually, Ferg got a lot of damage from that too. He's down to 34 HP, so certainly far from ideal here. Freiburg's pulled himself off of B, gone back towards A. So we've got Pit, Get Right, and Exist watching this site.
And Taco has that little bit of a hole he can see through in the smoke. If he catches anybody moving outside of the drop, he'll be able to execute, but there's the auto. Shuts out Taco. They know it's here now, but it's all about countering it, and it's going to be countered pretty quickly. Fur moves in, takes down Exist, finishing him off. But now it's about getting beyond the platform, because they still have to worry about Pit sitting down below. He didn't catch over that. FNX was up so close, so it's, again, going to be what we assume would be a strong part of the defense. It's executed pretty quickly. Now Freiburg further back here, finishes off one, looking for a second, but he does leave himself out for too long. So Cold will trade it out again and bring things down to a 2-on-2.
Now, the bomb's not been planted, so there's at least one bit of a bonus going in towards NiP's favor here that they can work back in, but Forest takes a bit of a hap-handed fight, and now Get Right's left all out in the open, tagged up, but still finds Fur. And look at coldzera's HP, this is possible. Oh my god, this 1v1 is absolutely insane. Get Right needs to land 1 shot, as does coldzera. 18 seconds, Get Right just toys with him. Cool, calm, and collected, knowing that bomb still needs to be planted. As he hunts his prey, he takes the shot, he can't land it, backs off again. Time is not on coldzera's side, and this has to be a full plant. Get Right's going to take the chance, takes the opportunity, and takes his head again. Get Right with the 3 kills, huge impact into that round.
Should be noted too that both of those final kills in the 1v2 were headshots as well, so on point with the aim when it comes to that one, and still playing at long range, but with the health pool so low for LG, I mean, the long range isn't really going to be too big of an issue when you have the spread shot coming out. As long as 1 or 2 of them connect, you're in good shape.
All right, 5-7. And again, this buy of the auto sniper, it's kind of weird.
Just recovering it actually from the previous round. So
yeah, true. So I guess Exist gets another try at it. He only got 1 kill, if I'm not mistaken, in that previous round. That's towards Taco, who's been working through the smoke. So looking at Luminosity now, finally their economy's not too great, but again, these are into the final throws of this half, so it's not too bad for them. They still have the Tech 9s. They can put those towards drop if they want. And that's exactly what they're doing, guys. We need to get back in game, because the game is live. We are staring at NiP, and that's not what we want.
We can radio cast to help you out here. A little bit frustrated on the cam, but we're back in the game, and Forest with the roundabout here does actually bring things back down to a 3-on-3. So after LG did get themselves off to a hot start, it's been evened out once more here, and LG are sort of giving up their initial plan to go for an A hit, which, keep in mind, we mentioned this before, there's not been a whole lot of presence over here previously. They've mainly been focused on B.
This is a lovely rotate, though, from Luminosity. Pulling those players off and then hitting the site again. FNX can be the kind of anchor almost, just holding that angle and saying, guys, you can come across, like, just don't peek too far. Yeah. I've only got this. Don't make me work too hard. So now Fallen's got himself towards the site, bomb's planted. So now it's down to the retake. 3v3, this is actually incredibly tough to come back into the site, especially with coldzera in his position. FNX as well. Crossfires are pretty robust at this point.
And FNX Not even moving whatsoever, just gonna sit here. He's seeing the barrel, but as they round around, he's only gonna get one. That's a good recovery from Pit. So down to a 2v2 once more. Support's gonna be coming back in from drops, so they will need to be cautious of that one. Right now, they don't have anybody looking out. This is gonna be a great crossfire. There we go. One kill already be found, and Pit as well. Not even really putting up a fight, unfortunately. Fallen, shutting things down to end the round in the favor of LG once again, and they now take the lead away from NiP pretty heftily. 8-5 here, coming into the last couple of rounds of the first half.
Would say that NiP do have a very, very interesting T-side, let's say. The smoke plays that they have were actually quite unique from a very unique place. So again, there's a lot to be looked at yet, but at the moment, this is an extraordinarily good performance coming from Luminosity. There was a little bit of a resurgence from NiP, as you can see there, the rounds in a row, but not exactly a perfect bind to this P250s, and that's about it. So Fur's gone hunting, but gets punished, gets wrecked for that one. Not allowed to get away scot-free. And now they all go for the fight against Fallen, and, well, gotta be careful on that one.
Fallen moving himself out there, did pick up that first trade kill, but beyond that, it's just a shut down. Literally, nothing being found whatsoever from NiP after that bit of a mistake with, I believe it was Fur who got a bit over-aggressive going towards drop, but that's very easily recovered, and with a 9-5 lead now, LG are looking good to control things heading into the second half, but by a much smaller margin than we've had on both of these previous maps.
As said on the desk, generally that third map is the kind of middle ground between both teams, so you do expect a closer game, and oh, look at this change-up. They're finally doing the hit towards Hay. It's the final round in the first half, but they're going to go for it. Taco's trying to sell them a bit of a cheeky fake here, but let's see if that works out. Forrest will be the one waiting. He is the gatekeeper of this site. He's got Freiburg not too far away, but he's going to get a great deal of info. He also gets absolutely ruined by Fallen, so that is the perfect beginning. A nice quick kill, going to make that rotate even harder, and Freiburg only has the UMP, so that's going to be put to the test here, and gets completely outdone already, having to just dance around that truck, and well, this is such a decisive take from Luminosity.
FNX with him finding that kill, that's essentially it. NiP, they're gonna have such a small chance of getting back into this site. You can see Exist looking for something there. Through the crawl space and outside of the shed, and Taco too, lining up this kill. A little bit off the mark initially and down to 12 HP, but it's recovered pretty quickly now. Get Right just jumping down the suicide steps on the chase with this shotgun, when she's been using for most of this half, to be completely honest, only changing it back out, but there, he still had the 2-on-5 to work against, and there's gonna be no recovering from that one. So it'll be 10-5. In the favor of LG here, holding a nice lead coming off of their T side. But same thing as the last map. Could still be recovered very easily by NiP, but they start off strong with a pistol in the first few.
Yeah, coldzera having a very good game for himself as well. Certainly one of the, I guess, the headliners at Luminosity. He didn't exactly have a huge game in the other maps, but this was certainly his to be taken. And Get Right, of course, joined by Forrest with some impressive play for NiP. All yet to be seen still. NiP's T-side has a lot to be looked at. Those smoke plays, the way they build it, is very exciting. So that is what I'm looking forward to. It's time to find out between these two who will be making it through to the finals. We are into the final half of the final map. and it's a 5-10. Luminosity still leading this one, but now they need to close it out, or Ninjas need to build that comeback pretty darn soon.
Absolutely. So we'll get into things pretty quickly here, but looking back at that last half, I mean, it was just an absolute dominance from Luminosity over there towards these B-site takes, constantly just crawling back from the depths, it seemed almost there too. NiP have these great starts. They're able to take down the first few players or so, but as soon as Luminosity are given even a smidge of site control there, it's just them controlling it from that point forward. So now we switch sides, however, we get to see what the Ninjas have on their own aggressive side. We'll get into things now, and let's take a look at what they're throwing Luminosity here on the pistol round.
This is quite nice. 4 players stacked. First eats it all, though. It was meant to maybe buy some time here, but no one's actually rotating all that much at the moment. Only Fallen's going to come back to support first, so maybe expecting a little bit more time on this. Exist, keeping these 3 players dedicated towards B. So Fallen and Fur have to be the ones to deal with this.
Fur holding the close corner now. He's going to see if he can grab anything from NiP as soon as they try to go for the push. And they're going to explode now that we've seen that first bit of damage. There's Fallen actually grabbing a nice shot initially. Shuts down Get Right. Fur caught reload, though, as they actually wrap outside of this one. But there's Fur with a nice one. Mid-air grabs the headshot and a second one. Finally, Freiburg is able to take down Fur while he's mid-reload, but still the damage has been done at this point. 4v2, Exist and Freiburg up on the site. They still are not going to want to risk going for the plant right now. But for the time being, with that smoke and play back towards the main doorway, they've fended Luminosity off.
How was Farrell able to get away with that? But look at this play from Exist. This could be good. But Luminosity already predict this. They're watching this angle. Cold Zera and Fallen waiting so patiently, and they punish him as Freiburg gets eliminated. That was absolutely brilliant from Luminosity. And again, didn't over-rotate, didn't over-commit. I was a little worried when they only had the 2 players there. But when first allowed to back away, reposition, reload, and still get 2 of you, I guess you don't have to worry about that.
Correct.
Yep.
Is the short form of that one.
Yep.
Especially after they predict the boost back over there towards the balcony too. That was actually pretty nice to spot that. So, with that spotting and with that shutdown on the pistol, Luminosity keep the lead going for themselves here into the second half. We will see the aggressive response coming out from the Ninjas because of the fact that they did not get the plant. So just going to be upgrading the Tech 9s. Not really a whole lot of utility behind it, so this is going to be a very direct, very solidified push towards one of these sites.
Tech 9s and 1 flash. So Freiburg, let's hope it's a good one.
Well, heading towards A, they're all going to be spread out too, so it's not even like that flashbang is going to do you a whole lot of good, because more than likely you're really only going to catch at most one of them. I do like, though, that they are not just going as like all 5 together. They're keeping a pretty big group, leaning towards an A hit, but if we actually did see Exist going towards drop to make some noise at the very least, that could drive a wedge on the rotation, and that's what could give it to him, but it seems like he's moving away from that now, so it is going to be a pretty raw attempt at taking control of a site here.
And to be fair, though, Fur's not really watching long either, so Fallen's going to be the one to probably adjust to it. Fur can kind of come up and support as they work their way through kind of, you know, by the wooden fence, but Fallen's being pretty cautious on this one again. So actually NiP could have a good shot at this. They obviously don't know that yet. It depends how much damage Fallen can do at this point. But they certainly could be quite curious to see how well it goes for them, as no one's going to be there to meet them. But there you go. There's the damage that could have happened. 1-for-1 trades out really for Fallen, but it's going to be Fur to do the real dirty work, and it just leaves Exist alive. Only finding 1 is not good enough here for Luminosity. And look at that scoreline, starting to look very good for the Brazilians. Luminosity, 12-5.
And as they start things off hot for the guys on NiP, the real question is how are they going to bounce back now once they get the guns into their hands? Obviously, as we saw previously, not really going to be looking for too much of a response now here in round number 3. Just going to be going with the Glocks. Literally nothing else being brought to the table. It's on round number 4 where one of their only chances to swing back into this game was going to happen. Actually, I think literally the exact same thing that Luminosity had to deal with back on Dust 2.
Yep. And you can see waiting in the wings, Fallen and Fur. And it's going to be Fur with the SMG, so his MP9 will want to be put towards these guys as soon as Fallen sees the info, especially seeing the bomb as well. That nade, oh, this is just an absolute bloodbath. Here comes the overrun. First just positions himself in the smoke. He turns around at the wrong time. He expects more pressure, but somehow doesn't land really. He does a lot of damage, but he doesn't get the kill. But again, an MP9 is not exactly what you want to be picking up when you have no armor and very few chances to get that up close and personal.
Even if he didn't get any kills, he did a whole load of damage. Freiburg's down at 7, Get Right's at 24, Exist is at 39, so unless they can open up a flank, their odds of still bouncing this round back is going to be very slim. Exist, they heard him, so there we go.
Ouch.
Zera's going to find a quick kill onto Exist to eliminate him, and these final 3 will make a bit of a rash attempt to get into the A site. Not like they had much else of a choice here, but it is being dispatched pretty quickly by FNX.
And this is all time as well for NiP to discuss their upcoming intentions. Oh, crossfire wasn't perfect, but he couldn't do much with it. Nice try from Freiburg, but it's FNX to find in the end. Now look at the scoreline, 13-5. So very small margin for error coming out for NiP if they want to build back into this, whereas Luminosity, just a couple more rounds. But again, the gun rounds are what we need to be looking at, and this is the first real attempt, and there's that double up already out.
I think the most interesting thing to look at so far about this match in general is just how it seems like in a lot of Luminosity's matchups over the past 2 weeks, it's been Fallen. That's the big player that decides how dominant they are in the matchup, and we didn't really see too much of them here in this map specifically, but still, beyond that, it doesn't really matter because Luminosity are still just shutting things down.
And Fallen actually went for an early play then, just kind of pushing through A, but just got flashed and pushed back. So he would have been up there with Fer at this point, and maybe could have been overwhelmed. Arguably, he'd just wrecked them all, but still, leaving the 5v5, there's still much to be seen from these two, but that nade does a good bit of damage towards Pit. Deep smoke down towards A long. Can allow them to push through and try and take a fight if they want to, but first still found an angle, so they might need to clear that. Freiburg could molly it out if he wants to, but Pit just decides to walk out anyway, feeds himself in towards Fer, who doesn't need any more help with that. Now 4v3, NiP at the disadvantage.
Forest now inside of that mid connector, but with already the Ninjas being brought down so low, they have to still find a good way to get themselves outside of this. 2 smokes and 2 flashbangs. It's all the utility they have to control this site and hold it against the retake from the CTs. And the retakes are, in my opinion, what they have to worry about more, because that's what's been so strong for Luminosity. Pulling off these retakes against odds, which have looked absolutely dreadful for these guys. They've still managed to do it round after round after round again. So here we go, smoke starting to boil into the site. The bomb is actually still really held far back, so I think they're going to use it to try and push these two in. If it goes great, then they will inject the bomb, but if not, then maybe try to round it over to B. Not going so well initially. 1-for-1 trade. Exist does pick up FNX, but they're still stuck, and they can't actually get any control of the site itself.
And now Taco's come over to support as well. This has just gone even worse. You've got coldzera holding the cross if that smoke dissipates, but 2 orbs still into play. Gonna make it difficult, and there you go. coldzera's found Exist, and now it's just Gerai left in a 1v3. This is gonna be 14-5, 10 seconds, and there it is. Luminosity take another big step in the right direction here for them if they want to get to those finals. 14-5 now. This is not good enough from the Ninjas.
It's not even close to good enough now. We've gone back to map number 1 as far as the progress they're making is concerned, and now it's just an absolute masterclass showing here from Luminosity, having no trouble at all dominating them in the early round. It's that aggressive, it's that bits of aggression that come out again to try and shut down the early pushers from Ninjas in Pajamas, and after that one they can just hold back onto the site, wait for NiP to throw the remaining assets at them, and then obviously 5-on-3 handled pretty quickly. And
this is one of the lovely setups that we kind of saw coming out in some of the very early events when Threat had joined them. It was something that was actually really nice. It's a timed piece towards B basically, and you can just go straight off the back of it. So Gerard's going to be the first in with Exist. The other 3 will now kind of follow off the back. So it gives you great site control, but now they need to follow it up because coldzera's being left completely scot-free. He almost got the drop towards Gerard as well, but does manage to only take 1 in the end. But here comes that retake, and it's FNX doing the great deals of damage, leaving just Freiburg alive. And this is going to be Luminosity on match point at this rate.
Freiburg trying to pull off a miracle here in a 1v4. He's got a long time to do it, and he's hiding back a little bit to see if he can catch a push over here towards the broken wall. Might get it too in the form of FNX, but long range still manages to find that shot, but now they know exactly where he is.
Yeah, the game's certainly up now. 1v3 is not going to be an easy one, and well, looking at their money as well, they've kind of forced into this, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they don't have much to work with at all. Of course, they're going to go for anything they can in the next round, but it's not going to be pretty.
Trying to pull off a flank, but I believe the guys from Luminosity have predicted this quite nicely.
No one's watching it just yet, but I think the timing is going to be like, wait a minute.
Taco's moving back and forth to check for it every 5 seconds. There we go. Someone jumped out. Bird did spot that coming, and that'll shut down Freiburg and put Luminosity just 1 more round away from a slot in the finals here at the ESL Pro League Season 3 Championships.
Let's see what these guys can get for NiP. Their money is not perfect, but it's enough to get a decent rifle buy-in. Forrest's going to go for the Galil, and we have a LG chant going on. Okay, there you go.
I like that.
All right, let's see how this one goes down. We've got the double orb coming out for the CT side, Luminosity, and again, NiP look like they're just going to go for this one. See what pace they bring to this. FNX, Taco, and coldzera will be the ones to wait on that B side. The Molly's going to slow him down to start with, at least.
Slowing down a little bit here. Forced up with the AKs. They've got some smokes to try and use under the site, but it looks like they're going to save them for the post plan if they can even get to that point. The first 2 kills in the favor of Luminosity. FNX and Taco finding them. Pit striking back a little bit, but FNX finding another one. It's Pit mainly that's dominating the playing field so far for the Ninjas. Down to a 2-on-3. They get a little bit of control, but they've lost their bomb. The Molly's going to roll out, prevent anybody from going in to retrieve that, most notably Pit. And as well, Forrest up on top of the platform. He's got his sights on nothing right now.
But now Pitt's got himself the AWP. Now Forrest they have no utility, as said. So if they want to get this back, it's with absolute brute force. And now Pitt already finding 2. has to look for more. And look at this, they know exactly where that bomb is. They can play to the time. 56 seconds, Pit's not done. He finds another! Pit, that's 4 kills already. And now Fallen left in the 1v2 to close this game out. He takes the fight and he loses it. Pit takes the ace to keep NiP alive in this tournament.
That's an incredible stride of confidence from Pit, too. As we've seen previously, NiP were already struggling, and Luminosity to a certain degree on their T side, too. Getting past that platform area has become a big area of contrition for both of these teams, and this is incredible. Grabs a shot on the up, trades it out to the AK. Bit sloppy considering he definitely should have gone down to FNX there, but still manages to find that kill. And there you have it. Pit, with a nice ace, keeps NiP in this game for the time being.
And now look at the money coming out for Luminosity. They're down to CZs. It's still such a long road back for NiP. I just don't see it happening, but what a sick way to keep them in with a chance. And this is, again, those smokes that we were talking about, that beautiful set piece towards B. And good clear out from Get Right, keeping this one, you know, nice and calm, and the follow-on. So again, NiP going through the motions here and not made it costly yet.
So shutting it down pretty quickly here. Not a whole lot being put up by LG on this round, as obviously they don't bring a whole lot of firearms to the table in the first place. But Fallen, he's just going to post up outside the main doors and watch for any exits that he may be able to grab. Drop a couple things. Maybe keep the economy into the control to where they can just shut this down pretty quickly or force it into contrition. But this one will be another round for the Ninjas. Nicely played by Fallen. Now he's got an AK in hand. He might try to get a little bit more aggressive about it, but just hanging back now. And again, I think he's going to slowly back away from the site since he's got a decent gun worth saving.
Any damage is good damage, though. They've got so many rounds to play with him. And he's just going to be holding right on that edge and Get Right. Going to make a hell of a lot of sound. Easy pick up for Fallen there. So, yeah, making this a little more costly for NiP, but at this point, they'll be forcing into any round, or every round anyway, so you might as well just keep going on that. And keeping hold of that rifle is actually going to be pretty useful at this point. Let's see what Fallen and the boys do with it. They're on 15-7. And Mag 7 comes out again. Okay, double Mag 7, CZs. We've got they've forced up around it, I guess. Isn't far from ideal, but at this point, it's a long road for NiP here.
Just sort of evening themselves out on the 2K margin, since they're in a position where some of their players can afford to go for like a full rifle buy-up and others can't. So just even out the money a little bit here, and obviously going into the next round, they can focus on the pure buy-up there instead of just forcing it. They still got a decent cushion, so they can afford to sort of do rounds like that.
Taco just not hitting the shot. It looked on. He's having a tough time actually just landing the shots here. That looked so close, but coldzera seems to be finding all the reg that Taco couldn't with the deagle. So making it a little more costly, taking down Get Right, but it's still a 3v4. That bomb should be going down. He's forced out by the molly. He's still doing damage. How is he still alive? What the hell was happening then? But now Fallen and Fur, the last two alive, still pretty locked out of this site.
And Fur is stuck behind this rock. They know he's there, so as that first shot misses the kill connection, it's going to be Pit that finds the final pickup. There's the crowd.
Hi, guys.
You know, back over in Austin, it was like pretty one-sided when you casted the like North American teams. Here, it's actually like pretty split right now. It's like half the crowd. It's pretty half and half, to be completely honest. I don't think one side dominates the other.
Not until they win and one gets a little more rowdy, you know what I mean? Or you get a couple of turncoats who decide to change their minds. But actually, really nice deep smoke there from Fallen. That could allow for maybe coldzera to peek up, but it looks like Get Right exists again going for this. And I'm wondering when we're going to see maybe an undoing of this kind of default strat they're trying to run here. coldzera's aggression gets met by Get Right, so that doesn't go too well, and it's not stopping anytime soon. Taco's going to position himself in that smoke again, and maybe just hope he hits a couple more of these shots FNX has. So trades out okay so far, but it's still the CT side with the deficit.
Taco gonna get challenged pretty quickly here as the flashbang rolls back out, missing the connection on the first shot. He's got two to deal with here. Pit taking him down. Fallen responds, and there's a second one as well. Pit, I don't know what happened. Looks like you're running out of ammo there, so all of a sudden we're into a 2-on-2, and also Luminosity, they've got no real good path back into the site.
They've got utility to work with, but Exist is going to try and get a nice position to watch this push up. He sees them both, but he falls. It's Fallen looking to take his side into the finals. One more man stands in that way, and it is Get Right. Can he find the last two here to save NiP again? The smoke goes down. He doesn't hear the defuse.
This timing on his wraparound chicken coop too, he's never going to give himself away. If no one checks it, then he's good. There's the first kill. Now the question is, though, can he find the second one? He's still wrapping around. He's just wasting time. I don't even know if he has time anymore. Fur finds the kill, but it doesn't even look like it. No, it's cut the music, guys. No, none of that. There's no time left. Nicely played by Get Right. Perfectly played by him, in fact. And again, it keeps his team in this match.
The timing on walking around, just checking Coop then, keeping them busy, finding the first was sublime. There's very few people you want in that situation, but Get Right is one of them. 9-15 now. The money, again, looks pretty bad for Luminosity. They're down to the max 7s, the CZs, but they're on match point. They need one more. That's all they need. One mistake from NiP, and it's over and done with, but it's not just happening yet. But all the information has been seen, at least a good chunk of it, as Fer does fall.
The good thing, though, is that they do have the economy of LG on a leash to a certain degree. Like, they are keeping it in check. They're not letting them get, like, a huge stack up of guns and whatnot here, and they really can't afford to do that. As well as their own economy building up back and forth, too. This is a good thing. Not any ridiculous trades, but this round may be an exception.
Not like this. All right. All right. That's...
1G's in the chat.
All right, 10-15. When's that next big buy coming out for Luminosity here? It's right about now, so again, the challenge starts.
And this is the pause coming in from Luminosity, too, I believe.
Would be surprised.
As now, they're going to need a few moments. Definitely are some things going wrong on the CT side. Getting into a buy round, too. Like seeing that coming out here, but also could just be taking a few moments to take some of the hype off of NiP.
Yeah, it's always good to get them to kind of slow down and calm down, because the thing is that NiP really fell back on their T side to doing that kind of B hit that's been, it's nothing new, it's one that we actually really enjoyed seeing through. I think it was at Katowice, something like that. We started to see it really coming out with those three players stacking up and doing the smokes over towards B. Then it's, I think, existing Get Right, who just quickly play in towards the site as soon as it lands. Now, if Luminosity come up with maybe a counter to that, how do they want to face it? Because they're finding positions, but then just not landing the shots. You know, Taco's found a nice gap in the smoke to just watch the playthrough. It's getting close, but not close enough. So again, it also means that NiP can just switch something up, but they're on 10-15. They can't mess up one round here. So very, very pressured moment.
So the biggest thing for Luminosity too is that, like, this is the sloppy stuff isn't just showing up now. We were seeing, like, you know, little hints of this in the past couple of maps. Like, I think one note, if we go back to map number 1 even, was Taco when he had like this basically a free kill of, I forget exactly who it was from NiP's side, but it was a free kill of somebody just sitting in front of him and he completely whiffs the spray, so the player's able to turn around. There's been these little hints of inconsistency here or there from the side of Luminosity, and now I think it's showing big time on the second half as NiP are just looking extremely solid coming into this one, and they're definitely taking advantage of all those little tiny mistakes that are made by the CT side here.
But you still got to feel that massive issue being there is the fact that they can't make a single mistake. They can't miss that one shot or just have that one problem. It's come down to seconds difference at this point, being the fact that Get Right was able to win. I guess he won that 1v2 at the end of it by just running that clock so low. But this is not an easy game for either side. NiP is starting to look a little more deadly, but it's Luminosity just so close here. That final step, that final hurdle is often the hardest, as I'm sure a couple, and unspecific NA teams can attest to. We won't be bringing them back up, but we are back on the way. 15-10 now. Luminosity on the verge of winning this, but NiP have suddenly remembered how they like to play this map, and it looks like a 4-play stack towards B is what they have in mind here for Luminosity.
Lining up the smokes, getting ready to toss those into the site, but a couple players already ready to push themselves out onto the platform here too. Fer is posted up just outside of the broken wall, and Taco's here to support you. They've got the crossfire ready, and Fallen has found a first kill. Kills the lurker Forrest as he tries to push his way back through the mid connector there. No flank going to be coming back in. Cold catching another one. He got Get Right low, and now he's going to be able to finish him off. This is where it's rough, but there's Pit with the first entry. They're not checking behind them though, as Fer finds that kill, but it is traded out again by NiP.
2v3, this has to be massive from Freiburg and exists. They have no smokes left, one flash on Freiburg, and there's still Fallen, there's still Taco, and there is still FNX. The bomb is loose, and they're just looking for an angle to find an opportunity. Taco's still up close. You've got Fallen just waiting in the background with the AWP, and now bomb's gonna be faked. No one working off the back of it. Again, FNX slowly closing in. They're slowly starting to tighten that noose LG, and Exist knows what's coming his way, as does Freiburg, but this is incredibly tense.
Exist does not even want to take a chance on pushing forward to go for the plant right now, just sitting back, hoping he can bait someone out with a fake plant, but not finding anybody. Luminosity are stern as ever. They're not going to want to take any risks, but here we go. Now they're going to try something a little bit sneaky here. The flashbang goes over, doesn't really connect, however, and he loses his life to Fallen. Exist tries to bounce it back, but it's not going to work. FNX grabs the final kill, and it's Luminosity that will move on to the finals.
After what looked like NiP were coming back into it, Luminosity recover, they take the timeout, they win the round, and they win the game. A brilliant series from start to finish, both teams showing their strengths on their individual maps. But by the final one, the Brazilians have some fans here, clearly, and it will be getting to see them again.
I like the chant. It's a good one. I've never heard that one actually before, even when we were in Columbus.
Yeah, even Alex was saying Luminosity's quite hard to chant, but it seems they found a way. But again, great performance from both teams. I think a little disappointing for NiP. Overpass was certainly something they probably don't want to remember too much of. And for Luminosity, what a way to recover after Dust 2.
A valiant attempt to come back there on that final map, and for a moment there was some echoes of their match versus Team Liquid hailing in there to a certain degree, but Luminosity get things under control. They take the timeout that's needed, they figure out what exactly is going wrong, and they pick up that final round to close things out. Unfortunately, the lead being given very early on in the second half is a bit too much for them to recover from.
Now we need to find out who will be facing off against Luminosity in those finals.
Indeed, and that is going to be between Fnatic and G2. Definitely a bit of a surprise matchup there when we consider just how chaotic the group stages were. Thought it was going to be clear-cut here, but G2 do manage to find their way through it. And with that said, that'll be our next semifinal.
Exactly, next semi-final coming up is going to be a great one. G2 have it all to do, facing off against Fnatic. They might be slightly weaker without Olaf, but they can certainly bring some fire to that semi-final.